Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Turn Right Machine Works. My name is Keith, and we're in here just in our shaper area here, but I'm going to call this On the Fly. Now, right now, you're looking through one of 5 cameras I have out here today, and that's kind of our subject is cameras, and we have a project that we're going to make another holder for my camera needs here. Now, you're looking through the Osmos Plus. This Osmos Plus here has got a gyro system that helps hold it where hold it steady and self-level itself out, and it's all calibrated. And every once in a while, you'll see some of my videos drifting or whatever, and that's because the gyro on the camera is either not calibrated to the area I just set it to, or it has a mind of its own. Now, I control that camera with this Note 4. This is my older Note 4. There's no SIM card or anything else into it, and it's kind of a basket case. I have to keep it plugged in, but I'm able to go ahead and do my zooming, and if I wanted to, I can move the camera around. All right, and this is one of the greatest things that I've had so far as cameras in the shop, and a lot of my camera footage is done with it because I can also control the lighting by just touching a different area on here and brighten it up, and that helps. And sometimes I overlook that aspect of the video sometimes, and so you might see a little bit of difference, but I try to control that so that we're all in the same page as far as looking at the true colors on the subjects that I'm working on. All right, let's talk a little bit because I get questions about what cameras do I use, and it almost all started with this little Canon Powershot. Of course, this is my 3rd one here. I actually just have it mounted with a Rook, which the Rook is actually a nice little camera holder as well as an indicator holder. So I do have to say that. This is the Powershot. This one here is the 110. I'm not sure what I actually started out with, but this is the 3rd Powershot that I've had. Not that they're bad cameras, it's just that, well, let's just say I wore them out. All right. Great video. It's all about the memory card that you put into it, and it's an inexpensive camera to get started with. So pretty close to half of my videos were done with this alone, and also editing just on Windows Movie Maker. I stepped up to a Canon Vixia, which that is my 3rd one as well. That's an R80. I had an R50 that I still have, but I wore out the plug-in jack on it because I keep it plugged in because you don't want to have a battery failure in the middle of a project. It's they got memory cards now that go for hours, so you don't have to worry about that, but you still have to worry about the battery pack. The best Canon Vixia was the R30, and if you remember back when I was doing the wood chipper shaft with that flange welded to the shaft, and the video section where the bit came in from the tracer and traced out that radius, that was done with the R30. I went back to get when that one failed, I went back to Best Buy, and of course they did not make that camera anymore. So the best Vixia by far, it had the best macro zoom in and everything else, was the R30. This one lacks a little bit because now it's a Wi-Fi remote, which sucks compared to the R50, which has the infrared, and the infrared lets you zoom in almost like you just saw me zoom in and control the Osmos Plus that you're watching through right now. After that, I picked up an NEX6, which I got so that I could actually put different lenses on it and do different things, and create a camera that can also let me do self-focusing and get into wild shots and stuff like that. And I have little covers that snap over it, and it's still a work in progress. I haven't worked with it as much as I should, just because I'm not always, welding and getting under the hood, and when you're not doing it all day long, to do it and set up the camera is a pretty good challenge. The Joby stand was given to me, and I love it. You can crinkle this thing around, you can wrap it around pipes, you can do all kinds of different things. The thing, ball socket, swivels, tilts, all that. It's pretty cool, and I appreciate that as well. The other camera that I use is actually here on this nasty clamp, and this holds my Note 4. My Note 4, this is my everyday Note 4, and it does a lot of videos. Even my little quick snaps that I'll show on Facebook and stuff like that nowadays. It's bam, do it, clip it, trim it, whatever you want, and then send it on its way. I also dub this in with videos through what you're looking at so that I can catch different angles. Now, this becomes really stable with this. Now, this is another gift that was given to me around the What's in Your Box Toolbox giveaway. This is called the Nasty Clamp. And this right here just happens to be the same as my OtterBox clamp for my my cover for my phone. So I knocked off the clamp on the back. I took and drew in Fusion 360. I drew out a pad here with a hex that you can snap in a little quarter 20 hex nut, and then just apply 3M high heat high bond tape to the back side of it, and I put it in my printer and I printed this part out. And actually I think I'm going to go ahead and either mill out or print out more of these. Now that this has been in service for almost 2 years or so, I've had this with my Nasty Clamp and my Note 4, and I went to the Cayman Islands, and you can put your camera wherever you want, go walk, get into the picture and or video, and you got it. This is so small and can clamp on anything. And this is what we're going to be working on today, because I'm always fighting between holding this controlling phone or holding my Note 4, or this could actually screw any other camera on it because it's a standard quarter 20, and then you just lock it and jam it, so no matter what size the socket is or the depth of the socket, you can compensate for all your cameras. They're all just a little different, but they all have the common quarter 20 thread on it. Alright, now I can go online and I can buy another Nasty Clamp, but being being the cheapo I am, I was looking around and thinking, I go, hey, I almost have everything in my shop laying around not being used to make one of these. So let me set this out of the way here, and behind me I have I mean, on the plasma cam and over on my hydraulic press, my best friend Vince there, he came in and he had a carpenter that used to use these, and he closed up shop, and he says, how many would you want? I don't know. I took a couple dozen of them, and so I have these laying around. So I kind of looked around, some of them are a little rusty from using them outside or whatever, hold tarps down and everything else. They are good. This is the Pony 3202 made in USA. All right. And that clamp is that clamp right there. This is painted black, and they don't have the holders on it here. They probably powder coated that, and it has their nice little sticker on there, nastyclamp.com. Okay. Now, we're not trying to make these and sell these, and we're not going to outmarket these and everything else. What we're going to do is we're going to make another one. I have sometimes when this is screwed into this, and this is the only downside of this, is that there's not enough links. Now, I could go ahead and go on Lockline, and I could buy these links and add it on there. But if you look at, every once in a while, this edge right here will get into the side of the picture, like you probably saw looking at the Osmos at the beginning of the video. You'll see a shadow of this or a part of it. So what we're going to do is we're going to make that a little bit longer on the one we're going to build today. Alright, so we got the clamp part of this taken care of. Now we need to mount that to the clamp. Well, I popped that off of there, and I can see that's just a quarter 20 nut down there on a Allen head button, so that you can get an Allen wrench in here and they drill the hole into the clamp itself. So we're going to kind of duplicate that with my threaded fitting for, this is leftover parts from my coolant line on the K&T, and I can also pick these up anytime I want, but I happen to have one here. So this part right here will be modified, filled. It has a shoulder in here, and we can put an Allen in there, and then that will mount right onto our handle right there, and then we'll be able to snap on our line lock material. And we happen to have some of this around. It's not quite as big as this, just a little bit smaller, but it's pretty stiff. I believe it's going to work, and it's going to hold the camera pretty good. All right, and I have a little bit longer material than come with the stock one. All right, so we're going to play with that. Now, how does it attach to the other end? All right, they took one of their links, and I'll show you this close up when we get closer to machining it. All right, it looks like they filled it with a piece of it looks like Delrin, and there's another piece of Delrin in there with an Allen bolt. So they got an Allen bolt going through there, and it probably sets in there, or I don't think they made it round. I've tried to get that to twist, like they made it fit inside there, but it's just a straight bore, so to speak, not much angle. So all we got to do is get a 1/4-20 sitting out there like that, and then come up with a knurled knob. And you know, you always have junk boxes and things like that. Well, in my junk boxes, there was about 3 different knurled rollers that somebody had made for something, and I have one that's it's a little bit bigger than that. It'll look maybe a little bit out of sight there, but it has a hole, pilot hole already. So all I gotta do is kind of drill that out to the 1/4-20 threads, drill and tap it, and screw it on there. I might even give it a little shoulder like they have in there. So just laying around, I have all the makings to make my own nasty clamp. So let's go put one together. The first thing I'm going to do is cut these threads off of this piece right here. I want to lower that profile so that sets in there next to the clamp, almost like that. It just leaves the little ball off of that. I think that's going to be our first step there. So we'll put that in there, and then we got to take and measure the bore. Okay, that's running out a little bit. So usually when things are like running like that on me, and this looks like I can do this, let's take the center. We're going to loosen this back up again. Let's just say that's not even in there. Quicker than the eye. All right, bring this in. Bring it out just a little bit. Okay, with it loose, pull it back onto the center, and then give it a little tension. Okay, that should be lined up better. A lot better. Okay. Let's just see. See if we can baby it in here. I don't know. We might throw this out. Sometimes when you're only hanging on the plastic like that, it'll do it. All right. I like that. Oh, phone. All right. Okay. Whoop. Oh yeah, this is what I want. Okay. It's not. I looked at it and I go. I was thinking of my high-speed one, and normally I would run a high-speed in here. All right. What we see here is the Allen. This is going to be our Allen, so our Allen's going to sit in here, and we need to have that sitting in so we get enough screw length right there. So we need to counter bore this right here, because that's where that Allen's going to set in that side there. But this side here is going to be threads that will compress it. And there's going to be two pieces. There's going to be one on this side that's threaded. There's going to be one on the other side that's going to be a recess washer for the head of the Allen, and then that way those threads can stick out as long as those threads right there. And that kind of puts the position where that's going to be. All right, so we're going to match up with that. So a slight shoulder in on this side here. Now you can't go in too far, because with the whole diameter, because this diameter right here, or this length here, is almost 300, and 300. So we can go in a couple hundred anyway. All right, turn on our readout here, and there we go. That looks like 0. Alright, that's cool. We can, well, you can almost see through where those little hollows are right there, but that's going to be good. That'll give us that diameter right there. And the center diameter, we're just going to make it whatever it takes to go through. I think we're set with that. Alright. We shouldn't have to do anything else with this. We're going to make a flange that'll fit into there, and we're going to make a flange that fits into there. This one's going to have threads on it, and like I said, this one here will have the Allen sitting in there. So, okay, on the other end, that piece does not need anything. We can just machine the components and get them to sit in there, so we don't have to do any machining on that part there. So let's go ahead and put in our material here. And this is just black Delrin, 1-inch diameter. Alright, square up our compound so that our tool holder here. And I just look at the gap flat on the side of my center. Okay, give it a clean face here. And we need a little short stubby drill. You can hear that Delrin rattling around in there. Let's see, I'd probably take a piece of this tissue paper here, or napkin here, and put it around there. See if that takes care of the noise. Yeah, all gone. Okay. Okay, which part are we going to make first? Okay, let's work on this one here first, and this is going to be our threaded plug, and we will make that kind of shouldered out, and the minor diameter in here, let's say 510. Overall length of the part's going to be about 400, and the depth of our shoulders, you know, just under 200 thousandths. We're just going to set the outside diameter. Okay, and okay, 996. All right, and we said 5/8. That was pretty good, huh? 5/8. Okay, and the part's going to be, we'll take it in about 400. Plus our part off. 624, pretty good. Okay. Okay, now we're going to come down to, let's go 510, 510. .510, and that's about 168. I just want to see about how much threads we got. That's more than enough. That's like 1.5 times the diameter of the threads, which is more than enough strength to actually be threading into there. So we're going to call that our first part. Now we need to go ahead and put the 1/4-20 threads in the middle of it and then part it off. Okay. I'm gonna go grab my tap handle because I'm not power tapping this. I just want to go in enough to make the part. Okay, just put the steady rest in here. All we're doing is kind of guiding it just so that we got a straight line in there. we're going to do both our threaded parts first, so this doesn't really matter how much is going in. And then our second parts will be the through hole, straight clearance for the 1/4-20s. So that's the order we're going to do. So we'll be doing both the threaded parts first. That way I can continue on with this. All right, how does the thread screw into there? Pretty good. Okay, now let's go ahead and part that off. Okay, in there. I want it to be flush, right? All right. Sometimes you want to see really clear. If you're really touching, you can one eye it, stare down through, hold white behind here, and you can get rid of that clearance, and then you can see there that you're right next to that edge there on the money. Okay, at first I was going to go ahead and deburr or chamfer, but I figured Delrin's so easy you can just do it by hand here. And if you don't have a tool like countersink, you can use your pocket knife. Alright, now that should go right into there. There we go. Nice and flush. Okay, now we'll go ahead and we'll make the other one. This will take that washer piece we're going to make, which will hold on here, and those threads will protrude out the back side of there. This piece here, we got 668 and about 300 straight, and then we go into a 1/2 inch, about another 150 thousandths in there. So let's go ahead, get our bit in here. Okay, it's close to 1 inch. .668. Okay, and let's see, we got enough there for parting. There's 4, and we're gonna need just a little bit more for parting. Okay, and then we need 1/2 inch. For about 100. Kind of tapered out a little bit. Kind of what the inside, you got to kind of hand shape that in there. All right, let's see what we got here. Okay, I like that. Yeah, it looks nice. Okay, let's go ahead and I believe we have a tap thread here already. Yep. Okay, we'll just clear it out for our depth there. I don't know if I got enough depth on the minor drill. We might have to add some of that. Okay, I'm sure we're more than enough there. there again, we could just deburr this side with the countersink. All right. All right, there we go. That's the length of it. Eliminate all your shadows. There we go. Okay, put that into there. Nice and flush, that looks good. And of course the thread will come in from this side here and stick out. Okay, we're going to start out making the inside there. And this is tapered. This is cone tapered here from where the ball socket fits the piece here to here. There's about 50 thousandths of that 1/2 inch landing down in there. That it's kind of like clearance. I'm putting the head in there so that I can get what the diameter is, somewhere slightly above that head, because we're going to want to countersink that head in there. So I'm going to say about, we're just going to call that 700. We're going to check 700 and see how that fits into the piece here. Okay, got our, we've already slid this out and face it off. It still has the pilot hole in there. We haven't done anything to it. All right, there's our 1 inch. Let's go into 700. All right, there's our 700. We know that we need to have our head plus a little bit under the head plus a parting tool over the top. So we'll hit like that. Right there. Okay. Okay, I just want to kind of see what the depth is, and then okay, pull that off of there, and we have about 475 thousandths, and we can look in here at 475 thousandths and kind of gauge where that's at. Okay. Now let's go ahead and we're just going to cut a little bit of that 500 thousandths. That's a 1/2 inch. All right, as I go in, I'm going to feed out. Doesn't have to be pretty, but there we go. All right, I like that. We're going to take back some of this on the outside here. There we go. Now I just want to see how far we're actually reaching in with the minor diameter there, and that's a 1/2 inch now. Okay, so a 1/2 inch in here from the edge. Yeah, it could go even. It could go in a little bit more even. We want it as short as possible because we want the length of thread sticking out of this thing. 550. 550. 700 is the depth, total depth of this thing. That's pretty good. We're about, it looks like about 600 now, because that looks good. Okay, and that still leaves us with like a 1/4 inch or so, and that Allen's going to fit in there pretty good. And it gives us enough straightaway to go ahead and put the, turn the part around and put the countersink in there. All right, so I think we're just going to part it off now, because we can do the drill and the countersink in the other operation here. We gotta check the depth of our hole. We didn't drill all the way through that. Okay, we're gonna pull this out for right now. I'm gonna take and turn our part around. Nice. That little parting tit gave me something to hang on to so I could get it in there square. Okay. All right. Now this next, for my next trick, all right, what we want to do is we want to create a counter bore. Normally you sit there, you fashion some kind of a square tool to get in there. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to find an end mill to put in here. Now this is not good practice if you're working on really hard stuff, but plastic is very forgiving and you can do a lot of just chucking up an end mill and the drill chuck, and you can go to town on it. Okay, I found one. This is, I'd rather have a 2-fluter, but this is a 4-fluter. We'll give it a shot. It's also carbide. It doesn't have to be carbide, but it happens to be 3/8 and it happens to be real close and right here. All right, now our depth that we need to go is at least 250, 1/4 inch. So we just go ahead and we set our quill at 1 inch, so we can easily just eyeball that 1/4 inch on the depth there. Okay. There we go. Nice. Oh. There we go. We don't mind if it's a little snug in here anyway. And it probably is just snug because it's chucked on. No, it's a little snug anyway. Alright. So, let's see how this fits in here now. Fits in there slight resistance there. Okay, and forget which one we were working on. I think it was the blue one, wasn't it? I think so. Okay, that's got a good hold and I like that, but I don't have enough threads coming out here. So we're going to see if we can get a little bit longer 1/4 inch Allen. I don't think we're going to mess with getting that too much farther down inside there. It's got a good hold, and I'd rather have the good hold grade a longer bolt. All right, we're lacking just a little bit on the threads. Probably double the length of the threads and we'd be good. Okay, we changed out. We found a couple other longer 1/4-20 socket head, and we're within one thread of being the right length. So I think we're going to be good there. All right, we got that end done. Now we need to make one piece here to hold the Allen going in, and just enough thread sticking out this side to go through that clamp. So we're not needing as long a threads on this side, but we need to have enough sticking through there. Okay, and this is going to be a simpler part here because this is basically 680 like the other one, diameter, and then a short piece at 1/2 inch, probably 1/16 stick out there. Okay, so we said 680. All right, and then down to like 1/2 inch. Just for a short bit. Okay. Let's see how that fits. A little tight on the outside. Couple thousands off that 680. All right, that fits better. Okay, let's get that hair out of there. Okay. All right, I like that. Here again, we're going to go for a longer snout here, so that we can turn it around and do the countersink and the hole. Okay, same as before, pilot drill. Forgot to set my depth here. Real easy to forget to do that, but you set it at 1 or a mark on your spindle there that you're gonna know. Okay, and I have several different screws here, so okay, just like the other one. All right, we actually tightened it all the way up, and it sucked in the head just a little bit past that surface right there, and just squeezing it together, it gave me more than enough. There's a nut plus about the thickness of the clamp itself. All right, now the last thing we got is to go ahead and the lock nut that's got to be out there to lock the camera in. We kind of want to duplicate somewhat what we got. I'm just going to take a round piece of aluminum in here, and I want to, okay, it looks true on the face. I'm not going to bother. We're going to pick this. I think we're going to face off on this side here, and we'll leave that face alone. We'll come in here, and we're going to friction drive this just to take and machine a shoulder on there. See, this is the knurled lock nut there, and so we need a little face like that and a width like that. Well, somebody didn't put that in the middle, did they? Stuff around here. There we go. Okay, we're just going to kind of eyeball this down to, oh, looks like about there. Okay, now we're just going to square it off. Looks kind of good there. Okay, we're going to break this edge here. And we'll break that one slightly. All right. We still could go a little, you know, it's still about twice as thick as we, the thinner this is, the less room it takes up, right? All we need is enough to make a, okay. Let's go ahead and pull our center out of this. Okay. Bring this up here. Bring this up here. We're going to pull this out of here so we can get just a little closer. Okay, I'm going to use the end of my quill here. Okay, that's the end of my travel. So I'm going to have to get in here a little closer. Okay. All right. We can lock that down. Bring this in. Okay. Now we're going to loosen up the jaws here and hold that against the end of the quill. And we're going to tighten it down. Well, let's let it stick out a little bit more here. About like that. There we go. Running nice and true. As true as it was, right? Okay. Okay. Always put something in your hole so it doesn't get dirty. All right. In your hole. Okay, last cut across there. Okay, now we're going to drill that out and tap it for the 1/4-20. there's about 3 holes coming into there, and you can actually see where we almost came into that thread right there. It has a set screw going down in there, and that set screw actually was all the way in there. We didn't see that had a set screw in it, huh? Well, we got to back that out if we're going to tap it. We don't want to break a tap. Hey, well, that's so you can lock your threads if you need to. Well, how lucky were we to face that off on both sides and not hit that set screw. All right. Hey, for a thumb lock screw, it will do the job. I just want to take and break that edge on that outside. Okay, now that'll screw on to, well, let's go ahead and make it look prettier. Okay, there we go. Screws onto the camera, lock screw, we're good to go. All right, we got both of our fittings. Oh. All right, we got both of our fittings. All we need to do is put a hole in our clamp right there. Let's go ahead and put the original one back together. That was snapping that in, snapping that on, and there we go. Okay, the original nasty clamp. Okay, now we have our camera in and our clamp in. We took a pistol drill and we just drilled that by hand. There was nothing fancy, no sense in taking you into the vise in the other room there. And that nut sits down there like that. Put that lock washer over there. And that nut on there. I kind of like having those flats in the middle there, so there is a spring in here, so it is close, and I could see why they probably want that round head in here, but it can happen. once it gets past that spring. Okay, that's looking good. That's solid there. I'm not going to have any complaints there. Looks good. Okay. We got this in, so all we got to do is add in the middle, right? Okay. Now, we don't know how much we want, but we always kind of thought we needed to have a few more inches on this. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to break it right there. And this plugs in on the business end, which we may have malfunctioned on that Allen there. We may have to give that a little turning on the outside of that piece there. All right, how does this piece fit? Okay, no problems on that end. Okay, let's go ahead and do adjustment. All we're going to do is pull this thing apart. We're going to pull our Allen out, and we're just going to give enough clearance for this ball to work in on that socket like it's supposed to. Okay, it didn't take much. We just whittled a little bit around the Allen head there, and we put it in here, and we just test popped it on there. So we're gonna put this together now. Okay, still sticks out the same amount. We didn't change any of that because it still rests on the inside there, and we snap it together. Okay, and there we go. We have another nasty clamp. Okay, where's my case here? Here it is. Okay. And my phone. We snap it in. Ready to go. And I can now easily adjust it outside the blue. And lots of times I needed to be able to move it in another angle than I was clamping, and the short stoutness doesn't always let you get that bend. All right, and it doesn't matter where it's at. You know, those close shots that you need to get in close. Awesome. Here's the deal. All right, now I don't need this mag base to hold this attachment. This attachment came with my Osmos Plus, but it only fits the phones without the case. It will not fit the OtterBox case. All right, and my fight is usually because I want to use my phone, and I want to be able to control my camera from different locations. And that lets me do just that. All right. We're in business. Until next time, get her done.